The Olympics, those great games we play and celebrate every 2 years, filled to the brim with playful spirit, national pride, and 30 more gold medals for the United States.
But these ceremonies don't just come and go, of course. They're planned out several years in advance so that cities have time to build necessary infrastructure and athletes have time to prepare for what's to come. Because of this massive load of pre-planning and effort, each game develops its own distinct identity and as a result gets their own distinct logo. So today, we're going to find out what makes these logos good and what distinguishes a memorable logo from an appalling one.
Since 1924, we've had 45 Olympic Games identified with unique logos. Some logos represent their host city in a historic or important fashion, some logos embrace a new dawn of the sports scene, and some logos are London 2012.
But what distinguishes a good Olympic logo from a bad Olympic logo? Well, it depends entirely on who you ask, but typically good Olympic logos follow a few key rules.
1. Logo should represent the host city or country. This can be done by either taking advantage of associative colors or using symbols that represent location. It should encapsulate the past and look up to the future. 2. Logos should be based on the games themselves. This includes whether or not the ceremony is held in summer or winter and what kind of games the athletes might compete in. 3. Logos should reflect the time period. They should be up to date with current design trends and serve as a landmark for design history.
So with that in mind, why is it that some logos still fall short? Well, as I'm sure you know, there's a lot more to logo design than just a few simple shapes in Illustrator, despite what YouTube Shorts creators want you to think. So let's take a look at some Olympic logos to see which ones have stood the test of time.
One of the most praised logos used in the Olympics is that of Mexico 1968. With each character made up of 3 lines and the Olympic rings tying in seamlessly with the 68, it's both a striking design piece and a nod to Mexico's history and culture and art. It even warranted its own YouTube video on the Olympics official channel. Admittedly though, it's taking a while to grow on me, mostly because I'm trying to view it on a screen instead of in the many design applications it had, which made it look all the better. Nagano 1998 is another strong example, with its flower-like shape and 6 colorful blobs that are actually shaped like athlete actions.
And as per usual, the best designs are always coming out of the smallest cities. I mean, to further prove my point, just look at
Salt Lake 2002, with a bold geometric logo that contrasts the arid deserts from the snowy mountains and reflects the overall heritage of the area. Impressive for a population of 200,000. Other well-respected logos include Torino 2006, Atlanta 1996, Athens 2004, Sydney 2000, Calgary 1988, Montreal 1976, and Los Angeles 1984.
Seems alright so far. But as is usual with design collections like these, there are going to be a few stragglers in the mix.
Sochi 2014 is a shameless plugin of a logo boasting a whole URL in a blocky typeface. A prime example of where the wordmark logo style can't be applied. And what did they think this was going to accomplish anyway? Tourism? With this tactic, they've garnered fewer people than the amount of medals they've won at their own game.
Oh, sorry,
Vancouver 2010 also falls a little bit short by utilizing a flat, all lowercase type and some blocky shapes to represent an Inukshuk as its primary symbol, which is weird because actual Inukshuks are found over 1,000 miles northeast of Vancouver. Melbourne 1956 looks alright until you look closer, first at just how much they screwed up the M's, and then at the fact that the torch is stabbing its own host city. Nothing really national about this one either. Berlin 1936 was at least designed from a national standpoint. However, said national standpoint unfortunately happens to be the Nazi regime. But of course, what about London 2012, that choppy mess everyone loves to hate? Well, as we discussed before, Olympic logos should represent their host city in a historical or cultural fashion. That being said, what part of this means London other than the text? It tries so hard to defy the boundaries of design, but ultimately fails when people either can't read it or find Bart and Lisa Simpson in it. There was even religious uproar when people suspected that the word Zion was hidden in the logo.
They hated this logo so much that 48,000 people signed a petition to get it replaced. However, the Olympics ignored this petition and kept the logo in use. Some people even went as far as to say it could cause epileptic seizures, but honestly, if that were the case, we'd be getting knocked out by far less intimidating things than this. So, why bother? Do Olympic logos matter that much? Well, of course they do.
The Olympic logos are a simple, powerful way to further tie together a memorable game by helping to build its identity in its machinations and pride in its viewers. It should make you want to dive right into the action and see what happened. Even a bad logo can help make an otherwise unmemorable game get much more viewership. Ultimately, it's down to personal opinion on whether a logo comes across as a brilliantly crafted emblem or a radical experiment gone far wrong.
Well, at least I've got enough scrap guides to keep me warm for the winter.